Hi Golly Chicks, this is your girl Takyah Love, and in today's video I'm going to be reading an excerpt from my book 10 Prayers for Your Future Husband, and the part of the book that we are going to read and dive into today is going to be a testimony of a beautiful love story that I myself got a chance to witness firsthand. And this love story is so dear to me because it is the love story between my very own spiritual mom Sharion and her husband Charles. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and go into the reading of Sharion's love story. After 12 years of abstinence, I thought the Lord had forgotten me. With each passing day, I found it harder to believe that He even had a husband for me. My 50s were now upon me, and quite frankly, I was frustrated with the shenanigans. During those years, I entertained several suitors. However, none of them spoke to my spirit or my soul. Most importantly, none of them spoke those words the Lord told me my husband would one day say to me, so I would know he was from the Lord. After a while, no matter how much I enjoyed their company, I eventually let them go. Even though spending the night out on the town and talking on the phone was better than being alone, obeying God was still better than that. As a matter of fact, I had to say no when one of my suitors proposed to me. When I asked the Lord about it, He said plainly, "Do not come to me complaining about anything if you married that man." Following up with what He said, the Lord also gave me a dream about this man, and it was not a positive one. In this dream, this man ran away from me and left me in danger. After waking up from that dream, I knew God disapproved of him being my husband. Still, that doesn't mean that letting him go didn't hurt. If I'm being honest, with each man I let go of, I felt sadder than the one before. It's true what they say. Time can weigh you down, especially when you're waiting on a promise from God. Sometimes, even though your heart wants to believe it, you are unsure if it will ever happen. I was in church one Sunday morning when a woman of God suddenly approached me after the service and started singing over me. She grabbed my ring finger and sang, "He's on the way, your husband is on the way." Tears filled my eyes as I lifted my hands to receive her prophetic words. A few weeks later, while on a Zoom call with my First Lady, she pronounced over the conference call that she saw an engagement box and a ring for someone, but she didn't know who it was for. Immediately after she spoke, the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, "The box is for you. You're getting married." Once again, I cried and rejoiced as I received this confirmation. Several days later, the Lord informed me that I was getting ready to relocate. He told me to pack my bags because I would soon leave my apartment. None of it made sense at the time. I had just let go of the second man I thought would marry me, but he didn't. So what was God talking about? What did He mean by I was moving? Moving where and with whom? There were literally no prospects left in my life. Little did I know that 1 month later, I would see God make good on everything He had promised me. One day, on a cold winter's morning in February, the Lord prompted me to grab my holy oil and pray over Memphis. During this time, coronavirus was widespread. The governor had shut the city down, and I did not want to go. I asked the Lord, "Can I pray for the city tomorrow or next week?" He firmly responded, "No, get up and do it now." After hearing His stern reply, I knew I had to obey. When I arrived downtown, I parked my car, grabbed my holy oil, and began walking. I prayed for the city and did everything the Lord instructed me. When I was finished, I got into my car and headed home. Later that week, I was riding in the car with my best friend, Portia. We were headed to an Asian restaurant for dinner. While in the car, an old friend I used to work with called me on my cell phone. She told me she had listened to my prayer on Facebook. However, in the middle of the prayer, she said she felt prompted by the Holy Spirit to show the video to her brother. To my surprise, he asked his sister for my phone number and asked if he could contact me. After I said yes, he called me the next day. While I have been surprised many times, nothing could have prepared me for what this man was about to say. He told me without hesitation that the Lord had spoken to him while listening to my prayer and said, "She is your wife. Now go get her." To say I was in shock was an understatement. While part of me was excited, I was still nervous. As I held the phone, I wondered, what? Could this really be my husband? Immediately following our conversation, I began praying hard and searching the scriptures for confirmation of this. Nevertheless, our second phone conversation would undoubtedly confirm that God had orchestrated our union. When I opened my mouth to ask this man the same question I had asked all the others before him, to my amazement, he spoke the exact words God told me my husband would say. My mouth dropped open and I was stunned. I could not breathe. Was this real? I felt like I was in a dream. Despite this, I tried to keep my walls up due to the pain and disappointment I felt in the past. But with each passing day, our conversations and prayers for each other became more meaningful. I knew within my heart he was the one for me. For the first time in my life, a man spoke to my soul and my spirit. He even brought up the subject of marriage first. My usual celibacy demands did not have to be outlined, nor did I have to ask him about his intentions. He wasn't looking to have sex with me. He wasn't trying to get a taste of the cookie before marriage. None of that. In addition, I found out that he had been abstaining from sex as well. It had been 7 years since he was intimate with someone and 12 years for me. When I found this out, my heart leaped within me. It was clear that he was different from all the others. Every aspect of his personality was different. His speech, spirit, character, and even how he handled me. He made me feel loved and protected. 9 days after our first phone call, Charles got down on one knee and proposed to me in front of my best friend. We were engaged for 2 months, and in the 3rd month, we were married. This past June, we celebrated our 3rd year anniversary. Our marriage has been incredible. It has been full of love, laughter, and most importantly, God. Women of God, please allow my story to encourage you as you wait for God. In the same way I told my spiritual daughter Takyah, I will tell you women the same thing. You will never regret waiting for the husband the Lord has for you, regardless of how long the wait is. For 12 years, I cried out to the Lord. For 12 years, I was alone and needed companionship. For 12 years, I remained abstinent and kept my body to the Lord. For 12 years, I prayed and held on to a promise that seemed like it would never come true. But for what I endured for those 12 long years, God made it up to me in 9 days. If you are waiting on God, I pray my testimony uplifts and strengthens your heart. I know it's difficult to trust God at times, especially in today's world. There are times when worldly women will seem to be having all the fun while women of God are overlooked. But daughter, it is an illusion from the enemy to get you to lower your standards and an illusion to get you to settle. Settling may appear cute and make you look happy on social media, but in the end, your heart will not be satisfied. You do not want just any old marriage. You want God's ordained marriage. God's timing is perfect, and He rewards those who are patient. So wait for Him to act on your behalf. Do not rush His plans for your life. I can tell you from experience that if you wait on God, all those years will seem like only a few days. So Jacob served 7 years to get Rachel, but they seemed like only a few days to him because of his love for her. Genesis 29, verse 20. You may not believe it, but God has a remarkable man chosen just for you. And as soon as He encounters you, just like my husband Charles knew me immediately, He will know you. Moreover, He will love every aspect of you that every man before him failed to appreciate. But daughter, you cannot settle. Do not throw in the towel and give up now. You have come too far. If you don't believe anything else I have said, know this. God knows who you need and when you need Him. And at the appointed time, I promise He will fulfill His word to you. And as you gaze into that man's eyes, your spirit will leap, your heart will throb, and you will testify that your husband was well worth the wait. Sharion.
Y'all, I absolutely love that story.
If you have not gotten your own copy of 10 Prayers for Your Future Husband, I don't know what you're waiting on, because this book is going to change the course of your life forever, y'all. I'm telling you, I've already had a few reviews, and one of the women said that she could literally feel the Holy Spirit on this book as soon as she opened it up. So I want this book to bless not just a few people, but thousands, hopefully hundreds of thousands and millions one day. This book is beneficial to all women who one day want to be wives. And even if you're married already, the beautiful thing is I made this book for married women as well as single. There is a 10-day challenge in the back of this book that's strictly for married women only, that you can put into place to refreshen your marriage, to add some spark back into it, to just serve your husband as unto the Lord, like God has called each of us to do in marriage. And it's a really, really beautiful book, and I'm not just saying that. The prayers in this book are Holy Spirit led, they are God given, and they are powerful, and they will change the trajectory of your marriage and your relationship with your husband. And even if you're not married, for your future husband, you can already begin to lay the foundation for a beautiful, godly marriage. But if you have not gotten this book, trust me, you need it. So click on the link in my bio or comment the word book, and I can send you the link personally so you can get your copy today.